My books, The Origin of Names, Words, and Everything in Between, volumes 1 and 2, are available to purchase from most major booksellers in all major formats. Order your copies today so you can enjoy these books for yourself and help support the channel. Nintendo are known for creating fantastical worlds, different from our own, whether that be the joyous Mushroom Kingdom, where Super Mario & Co. hang out, save the day, and go go-kart racing, the epic Kingdom of Hyrule, home to Link, Zelda, Ganondorf and the Triforce, Kirby's adorable homeworld of Planet Popstar, or even the dark and broody planet of Zebus, where Samus Aran explores in the Metroid games. These worlds created by the Japanese gaming giant give the players of these video games an escape from our real world, yet many aspects of these fantastical worlds and the characters within them are based on aspects of our own real world, like how all the Pokemon regions are based on real locations, or how the aforementioned Hyrule borrows from Western European fantasy and medieval imagery. One other aspect from these Nintendo worlds that are based on our real world are the many names for characters used within them. Despite how imaginative many of these characters might seem, a selection of them are named after very real people who lived on our planet, whether that be famous people like actors, writers and sports stars, historical figures who helped shape our real world, or even just random people the developers of these games happen to know, like other developers or more or less random people. A prime example of a Nintendo character being named after a pretty random person is none other than Nintendo's most famous character and their very own mascot, Super Mario, who yes has the full name of Mario. I imagine you all know who Mario is, right? He's the guy with the red hat, dungarees, mustache, and up until recently at the time of writing this video was voiced by the legendary voice actor slash wonderful human being from all accounts, Charles Martinet. He goes around saving the Mushroom Kingdom and playing a huge variety of sports. This name of Mario is more or less synonymous with the character at this point. When first created, he was given a variety of names, like Jumpman and Mr. Video. Yet the name of Mario came from pretty unexpected origins. When Nintendo released the first game to feature the character, Donkey Kong, to the arcades in 1981, Mario was still going by the aforementioned name of Jumpman. At this time, Nintendo had a warehouse for their stock of arcade cabinets in Tukwila, Washington State. Nintendo rented this warehouse from its landlord, one Mario Segale. Workers at the warehouse started to notice that their landlord had a striking resemblance to the character on the side of their arcade cabinets, so started calling Jumpman Mario in honor of him. This caught traction, and when Nintendo came to release another game featuring the character, as well as his brother, they renamed him Mario and called the game Mario Bros. From accounts, Mario Segale always seemed bemused with having the character named after him. Segale only passed away in 2018, and despite being successful in his own right, most seem to remember him as the namesake for gaming's biggest icon. There's kind of another character named after Segale too, that being Captain Olimar, the main character of Nintendo's Pikmin games. In his debut game, he is a space pilot whose rocket crashes on a distant planet, and he has to use the local residents, the Pikmin, to help fix his ship. His name in Japanese is Orimar, which is an anagram of Mario. This was intentional. This name was translated into English as Olimar, so he is named after Mario, who is named after a real person, which kind of counts, right? Back to actual Mario characters, however, we have his green brother Luigi. Luigi is often the Player 2 character, but has had the spotlight himself in his Ghost Hunting Luigi's Mansion series. Luigi might be named after a real person. There's a story that the name Luigi comes from the name of a nearby pizza parlor near Nintendo's offices, which was called Mario and Luigi's. As they already had the name Mario, it made sense to use the name Luigi too. However, we have no idea if the Luigi in this parlor's name was a real person. We also have very little evidence that this pizza place ever existed. Despite how many sources claim this is the origin of that name, no one has been able to track down this pizza parlor. Honestly, finding this pizza parlor feels like a job for a YouTuber like Nick Robinson or something. Honestly, I adore his videos, so if anyone watching can pester him to try and track it down, that would be amazing. One last Mario character worth talking about is Pauline. She was Mario's first girlfriend and the woman in the Donkey Kong game who needed saving. Since her debut, she's had a resurgence, appearing as the mayor of New Donk City in Super Mario Odyssey. While first just known as Lady, she eventually acquired the name of Pauline. This is a story similar to the origin of Mario's name. She was supposedly named after one Pauline James, the girlfriend of Don James, who was Nintendo's warehouse manager at the time of Donkey Kong's title's release. Like with Mario, the people working at the warehouse linked the name Polly with Lady as they were both girlfriends and gave her that name. There is some debate over this etymology, however. If true, that Nintendo warehouse was a goldmine for iconic names seemingly. Moving away from Mario and Co, let's look at Kirby. Kirby is the main character of the Kirby series. He's a cute pink blob that floats around and can inhale enemies to gain their abilities. We've actually covered his name in a video unto itself, but why not cover it again? This cute puffball is named after John Kirby, a lawyer for Nintendo who saved them when they were being sued by Universal over the name and likeness of Donkey Kong, due to it being very similar to Universal's King Kong. John Kirby was supposedly a pretty hard-nosed lawyer, and he managed to win the case for Nintendo. He would carry on working with Nintendo for some time, and as a thank you, Nintendo would go on to name one of their newest mascots after him. Before having this name, the pink blob had the cute name of Popopo, yet they thought it would be funny to have a character that is so cute named after someone like John Kirby, who was so no-nonsense. John Kirby only passed away in 2018, but the character named after him lives on. Moving on, let's look at the Legend of Zelda series, and that name of Zelda. Zelda, of course, isn't the name of the guy you play as, but is instead the name of Princess Zelda. She is often the one who needs saving, but has stood as a hero in her own right and played a more pivotal role in many of the games. She was named after Zelda Fitzgerald. She was a novelist and socialite, and of course wife of F. Scott Fitzgerald, who wrote a certain book about a great guy or something, I can't remember. Creator of The Legend of Zelda, among many other Nintendo games, Shigeru Miyamoto picked the name Zelda for the princess after hearing about the author's name, as he felt the name was pleasant and significant, which are fitting qualities for the name of such a notable princess. Something else I really want to highlight is that comedian Robin Williams named his daughter Zelda in ode to the princess, as he loved the games. The two of them even appeared in a commercial for the games together. Zelda Williams has since gone on to become an actor and director in her own right. This gives us an example of the opposite of what this video is about, a real person named after a Nintendo character, which is neat. While Zelda might be Nintendo's most famous lady, another beloved woman of Nintendo is Samus Aran, the leader of the Metroid series and one of the first female protagonists in all of gaming. She explores dangerous planets and defeats aliens like the titular Metroids. Their name, by the way, is simply a combination of Metro, in ode of the Tokyo Metro system for some reason, and the word android. While it's kind of strange that they're named after the Metro system, Samus's name comes from an even stranger origin. Her name derives from the name of Edson Arantes dos Nascimento. Apologies about my pronunciation on that one, my Portuguese isn't quite up to scratch evidently, but they are more well known by their nickname of Pele. Yeah, that Pele. This space bounty hunter is named after one of the most celebrated footballers of all time. How did that happen? Well, this name comes from one Hiroshi Koyotake, a designer for the first Metroid game, and he created Samus Aran herself. Koyotake is apparently a big fan of football, and believed that Pele's actual name was Samuel Arantes, which is a little off, but you can see fragments of the name Samus Aran in the actual name of Pele. Due to his love of the sport, he named the character after the beloved footballer, believing it would be cut, yet the name did indeed stick around. I find it fascinating that Samus is named after Pele. These name inspirations can really come from anywhere. A Nintendo series that has recently exploded in popularity is Animal Crossing. This series has you setting up your own village and just relaxing with all the other villagers. It's weird, but honestly it's something magical. The latest game in the series, New Horizon, exploded in popularity at the start of 2020, when it came out towards the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. It gave people a chance to socialize in a way they couldn't at the time. Around this time, I actually made a video about the names of some of the villagers in this game, but honestly, I had really bad COVID at the time, so put minimal effort into it. It's actually one of the few videos I'm genuinely unhappy with on the channel, and wish I just took some time off and made it properly when I wasn't so sick. Anyway, many of the characters who can populate your village are seemingly named after real people. In fact, a channel named Rocket Elijah has a really cool video going over all of them. This information is from that video. I shan't go over all of them here though, but go watch that video if you want to know some more. Like I said, it's really cool. Ones I really liked, however, are Marlowe, a mafia boss type hamster who was most likely named after Marlon Brando, the actor who appeared in the Godfather films. Cleo, a horse villager who was potentially named after Cleo Ridgely, a famous horseback rider and actor in many silent movies. The anteater villager Cyrano derives his name from the play Cyrano de Bergerac, written by Edmond Rostand in 1897. This play is based on a real person with the same name. A key feature of the play is the character's large nose, and as an anteater, the villager of Cyrano has quite a nose himself. That's naming just a few of the villagers who are named after real people. I suppose I ought to finally talk about Pokemon. Pokemon is full of interesting names, many of which I've covered in videos unto themselves. With over 1,000 creatures, it makes sense why there will be so many interesting names. There's a good chunk of Pokemon named after real people. In fact, that could be an entire video unto itself one day. Let me know if you want to see that. I'm just going to highlight a handful of the more interesting ones. Of course, we have the two original Hitmon Pokemon of Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. The latter part of these names come from Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan respectively, two beloved martial artists of the silver screen, which is fitting as these two Pokemon are all about fighting. We also have Empoleon, the final form of Generation 4's water starter Pokemon Piplup. Their name comes from Emperor and Napoleon, as in Emperor Napoleon of France. This is fitting as Empoleon is most likely based off another famous emperor, that being the Emperor Penguin. And there's also Kangaskhan, a Pokemon inspired by kangaroos which has a child in its pouch. The latter part of this name is thought to relate to Genghis Khan, famed leader of the Mongol Empire. Why this Pokemon was named after him, however, we seem to have no idea. There's very little relation between kangaroos and the Mongol Empire. The leading theory is because Kangaskhan Khan is the parent Pokemon, and Genghis Khan, while officially only having 4 kids, is believed to have parented hundreds, if not thousands of others. So many that around 16 million people today share his DNA. There's also a theory that if you go back enough generations, everyone is related to him. This is just a theory as to why this kangaroo Pokemon might be named after him. Finally, let's talk about Yoshi. Yoshi is the dinosaur companion of Mario and has starred in games in their own right. Yoshi is a Japanese first name, meaning things like good luck and righteous. However, there doesn't seem to be any evidence that this Yoshi is named after a real Yoshi. Let me know if I've missed something otherwise. But suffice to say, there are a ton of Nintendo characters named after real people, many from some really unexpected origins. Like, I never would have expected Samus to be named after Pele, or Luigi maybe being named after a pizza joint. Once again, someone pester Nick Robinson about that one. There's probably many more out there. For example, I've never touched a Fire Emblem game, so I'm not qualified to get into that series, though I imagine it is rife with creative names that borrow from our real world. If there's any you know about that I might have missed out on, then please let me know. This was a really self-indulgent video as I wanted to make it as it was my birthday recently, so treated myself. We'll probably talk about a country or something next time. Now excuse me, I need to go find Zelda. Name Explained depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explained videos, and your name at the end of the video with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/NameExplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.